young. Remember, I promised to stay strong. Look into what you see in my eyes.
Hey, what's up everybody? Joshua Casper back at you with Plugin Boutique, and today we're going to be checking out this month's free with purchase giveaway, and that is Antares' Duo plugin, which is a vocal modeling auto doubler. What it does is you put it on a dry vocal and it will make it sound like, and when applied correctly, it will make it sound like you had a double vocal take. Obviously, you have control over the degree of which things are separated, and you've got 4 main parameters to adjust. So in this video, I'm just going to walk you through it and give you some tips, tricks, and techniques along the way on how to use it properly. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and drop a new instance of the vocal modeling auto doubler called Duo onto the channel. This is my dry vocal.
You and me will be forever young. Remember, I promised to stay strong.
Now this is a dry vocal, and I'll leave links to this. This is actually from a sample pack on Loop Masters if you want to check it out. This is actually a full construction kit, so everything you hear I didn't make, I just grabbed from that sample pack. It's really dope. This is actually a dry vocal, and I'm just sending it to some reverb. So this is what the sample sounds like without the reverb send.
You and me will be forever young.
So I just have the vocal there, and this is kind of important. You really want the vocal to be as dry as possible, meaning no delay or no reverb. It can do the doubling with those things, but you're just going to get better results with the dry vocal. I just want to get that out of the way. You can also use it on things like monophonic instruments. And when you drop it on a channel, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. The first thing you want to do is set the vocal range. So we got soprano, alto, tenor, baritone, bass, and instrument. So this is obviously a vocal, and I'm going to leave it on alto tenor. I've got this cheat sheet for you to show you kind of where the fundamental of the vocal should be to change the setting there. This is just going to prime the algorithm to do a better job with separation, a cleaner job, and then you can have more control over it. But essentially, these are your notes values for soprano, tenor, and baritone and bass. Baritone and bass essentially same, and same with alto and tenor. I mean, they're effectively the same, especially when you're dealing with the vocal. Just pay attention to these, and if your vocal fundamental is falling within those ranges, that's what you want to set it to. Just again, I want to be thorough here. So what I'm going to do is come into plugins and come into Pro Q3.
You and me will be forever young.
Just gonna go ahead and bypass the doubler for a second.
You and me will be forever young. Remember, I promised to stay strong. Look into what you see in my eyes.
So you can see here that I've got fundamentals down here and a red around here. This is 837. This is around 296. Obviously, as the pitch changes, those change. But if we come back to our cheat sheet, you'll see that it makes most sense to have it on tenor, and that's why I do. Anyway, set your vocal range, and then you have 4 main parameters. Before I jump into that, I just want to make another kind of call out here. This is the volume for the original, and this is the volume for the double. And by default, it's going to automatically pitch your original all the way over to the left and pitch your doubler all the way over to the right. That's just going to give you the best results. And if I come over here and play it, turn on the Duo again.
Remember, I promised to stay strong.
So immediately, even with the timing set to their lowest value and the pitch set to the lowest value, which is 10 and 10, so there's automatically going to be a little bit. And I'm going to be honest with you, I never push these too far. If I'm going to be working with it, it's going to be a very slight value, maybe a little bit on the pitch, but generally just I mess with the timing, and that's pretty much it. But obviously we have some other controls. So what I'm going to do just to show you is really pump up the timing so you can hear it.
You and me will be forever young.
You should have headphones or good studio monitors there, and if you listen, you'll hear like 2 different voices coming out from the left and the right, and that's what the plugin does, and it's meant to do it automatically and with a little fuss, and I say it does it really well. Pitch variations, if I pull it up,
you and me will be forever young.
It's just going to do more to push the 2 vocals or separate the 2 vocals to make the brain hear that it's happening. It's not a perfect, it doesn't, like if I just pull this in the center and pull down the original here,
you and me will be forever young.
You can really hear the pitch variation there.
You and me will be forever young.
And even there, you can really hear it. But what I want to stress is you would never use the plugin like this. You would never crank just the double and have these up unless you were looking for like a tape effect, which actually might be a tutorial in and of itself. When you play the two vocals together and pan to the left and the right in combination with some audio, you really can't hear it.
You and me will be forever young.
So you can't, it's really transparent in that you don't hear the clear timing variation, or even if I crank up the pitch variations.
You and me will be forever young.
Because they're playing at the same time and they're just being panned to the extreme left and the right in combination, your brain doesn't pick up on those, very apparent pitch things that we heard when we had it soloed in the center. I hope that makes sense. So I am going to bring the dry down and come into the middle with the double here, and then just play with the vocal timbre, because this is another cool thing that you can deal with or use. And this just uses throat modeling technology to apply variations in the vocal quality to the doubled voice as compared to the original. So positive values will lengthen the modeled vocal tract for the double voice, and it will result in lower formant frequencies. And negative values will shorten the modeled vocal tract in the modeled voice, resulting in higher formant frequencies. So let's try that out. Let me solo the voice again.
You and me will be forever young. You and me will be forever young.
I'll be honest with you, what you hear in most music these days is definitely that lower one for a backup vocal.
You and me will be forever young.
So let's put that with some timing variations, and again, mix in the original.
You and me will be forever young.
And what you could do is center your original and then just pan this one with the volume down.
You and me will be forever young.
And again, this effect, in my opinion, is generally going to be much more subtle than you would initially think to use it. I would suggest going way beyond and then pulling back. That's how I like to apply most of my effects. But of course, it's on a case-by-case basis there. Then there's also the vibrato, which just controls the amount of variation in vibrato depth applied to the doubled vocal. We don't have any vibrato in this, so I'm not going to be using that. I'm just going to set it to 0. And I would turn this vocal timbre down maybe to... I actually had it off for the original, and then I just had a little bit more of timing variation, and these set to the left and the right extremes, and the vocal about the same thing.
You and me will be forever young.
Oh, and remember, sorry, my vocal timbre needs to be at 0, so I'm not getting any of that effect.
You and me will be forever young.
So that's with.
You and me will be forever young.
Without. Another thing, or another way to get more out of this plugin, is to automate the on-off. So you can see here inside Ableton Live, I'm on device on. And what I would do is turn it off except for things that I want to accentuate. So if you think about how often do people double up on vocals, and it's not for the entire song usually. Of course, there are instances where it can be, but I might do something like this now.
You and me will be forever young. Remember, I promised to stay strong. Look into what you see in my eyes. My universe full of stars. I hope you know.
So you can see there on the second phrase of sort of the response. So there's a call and response, essentially is what we set up here. It just gets the vocal doubling for that. And again, if we listen to it in the context with the music.
You and me will be forever young. Remember, I promised to stay strong. Look into what you see in my eyes. My universe full of stars. I hope you know.
You can see that we're definitely getting that. And of course, the timing variation, the pitch variation, these things can be automated. Everything can be automated. And you just need to make some mix decisions on what sounds best in your track. But either way, this plugin is yours absolutely free with any purchase from Plugin Boutique for this entire month. So link in the video description if you want to check out the deal options there. And of course, I'm Joshua Casper. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.
See the bright sparks. You are my universe full of stars.